Hey everyone, Genome here, come at you with a suggestion video for Scopely. I don't want to jump on the whole bashing Scopely kind of bandwagon that's going on right now, but you know, I do think things are coming to a head pretty quickly. I've never seen the community, and by extension, the content creators for said community, so up in arms about the practices, and there's been some pretty shifty ones in the past, right? Now, let me preface this by saying, look, I'm a free-to-play player, so I sometimes feel guilty about complaining about a game that I don't pay for. I have put a little bit into this game in the past, very, very little. I mean, considering the amount of time I put into it. So sometimes I almost think, you know, my suggestions can go take a flying leap, you know, until you start actually contributing a little more money-wise. But, you know, even free-to-play players help the game by increasing the player base, making matchmaking easier, good reviews, that sort of thing in the App Store. So we definitely should be heard, but right now the people who are actually funding this game are royally pissed, and probably with good reason, because a lot of this has come off as pretty tone deaf as of late. So before I get into kind of some suggestions, I think, for Scopely, let me talk about a couple things they've done right as of late. I really love the rewards that we're getting for the first time completion of DD4, right? So the I know y'all know about them, but of course, pop-ups. Sorry. What a great idea. This is the best idea they've had in a long time, letting you choose between two very good characters. And, you know, I was really torn on this one too, because I need like 104 shards to get a 5-star on call, but I'm going for Ghost because I want to be able to get Jubilee next time around. The War Store is 2-packed. That's a separate issue right there. So I'm going for Ghost, but I really wanted to call. But this is such a great idea because it allows people who have maybe just halfway on each of them, they can pick and choose whatever fits them best. So it could have come out a week earlier, been nice, but I can see they probably had to do a lot of, you know, programming and coding here to get it to work out the way it did. So I think that's an excellent idea. And just generally, a lot of the milestone events outside of the last one, which I would name nameless, are giving us stuff for basically doing what we normally do anyway. You had to, like for Red Winter example, you had to do some change-ups though with the raids and the arena, but you were still doing your daily stuff with the Alliance, and it makes sense, as much as it sucks being shoehorned into certain characters that seem to have no cohesion whatsoever. That part's bad, but I mean, the rest of it's pretty good. So I can give them credit there. And I'm also going to give them a little bit of credit for RTA.
What?
As much as I dislike the node itself, especially for the free-to-play player, the prizes are pretty good, even though it takes till like level 50 for the orange gear to start popping up, right? Which is a long slog till then. That's like a week and a half, 2 weeks in, right? So those are some pluses, so I don't want to come at this as a complete negative, right? In fact, it's funny, I think Remenex said it, and I used to have a senior drill sergeant, or senior NCO that used to say this back when I was in the Army. Don't come to me with a problem without a solution as well, right? Otherwise, you're just complaining. I don't want to hear complaints. I want to hear solutions to problems. So let's go ahead and get into this. Oh, man. This latest event is what's really capping things off on this excrement freaking cake that they seem to be baking up this year.
Example.
I don't know who thought it was such a good idea to be having to spend power cores, and it's almost mandatory if you're in a competitive alliance, right, to spend these power cores, and the amounts are just absurd. It's obscene. Power cores are really hard to come by in this game, and you have to be an arena freaking junkie to, you know, get within the striking distance of having a decent amount every day. You know, I usually am below, I'm in the top 100 usually, at least in my shard. Usually get down to the 50s and then get snapped all the way back to like 130s by the time I wake up in the morning, but you know, it is what it is there. So that part's rough. Power cores just does not seem like a good idea. Maybe some sort of mixture would be good. Spend arena credits, power cores. They can't use blitz credits anymore. They're too prevalent. And raid credits or something. You know, build a couple different currencies in there to make it more feasible for everyone, especially the free-to-play player. And not so much even free-to-play player, but newer players who are actually spending money, but are still way behind on TCP compared to the people who've been playing this game for, like myself, closing in 900 days, you know, over 1,000 days for some of the beta guys and all that. So man, just making it straight power cores is rough, and it seems like a real money grab.
You're right.
Now, whether this is because, sales are dropping and they're trying to milk the last blood out of that stone, who knows? I mean, I'm not going to be a soothsayer here, beware of the Ides of March and all that, but it's a cause for concern, and it just seems like a hastily put together event. It seems very tone deaf for what's going on right now. And also want to say this too, is just because some of the customer base complains doesn't mean you always should jump when they say to jump, right? Make meaningful changes, but you don't always bend to every whim of the consumer, right? This is not trying to be some corporate advocate or anything. I'm just saying, if you continually model your business plan after the complaints of just a few people or even tons of people all the time, it's not always going to work. I don't want tires on my car anymore. I want air cars. Well, it's just not feasible to shut your whole production down. Now, all that being said, most of what the community is talking about is completely valid right now, and this game has gotten so grindy as of late that people are they're starting to wonder, should I be hanging around? And if you look at Reddit, and if you're looking at the comments of these videos, which they have to be looking at these things, they have a very unhappy player base. If only 5% of the player base is commenting either in Reddit or on these videos, maybe even 3%, that's a ton of people, and it's a lot of money that could be getting flushed down the toilet because they won't listen. But let's get into some more things I think they could do to help. One of the places I think they need to really take another look at is your achievements. I mean, okay, you log in for 900 days, and this is just because this come up, say you're 1,000 days. 3 red star orbs, 25 power cores? Really? Why? Give you an elite 5 right here. You keep coming back. Give us something meaningful. Give 1,000 power cores, 5,000 power cores, something to achieve. I don't know. And then you can even say, well, not on the login ones, because you do that anyway. You're just going to do that every day. Well, how about for doing things like winning in Blitz now? Why are Hulk shards still in here for people who have maxed Hulk out like 2 years ago? Put another character in there, or put another currency, put something of more value in there. Because by the time the person gets to 9,500 Blitz wins, they've already maxed Hulk out. So either give another legacy character, or like Black Widow or something, I don't know. Just do something else with the Hulk. I mean, Wolverine, and the fact that Wolverine can show up in Mega Orbs is still beyond my ken, but whatever, that's a story for another day.
Much anger in him.
Get Hulk out of there after a certain amount of time. They could change it with Wolverine. Why can't they change it with Hulk? But just most of these achievement ones are so weak. A gold orb for collecting 44 bio characters. That's not easy to do, as you can see. I haven't even done it yet. 20 power cores? What are these rewards? These are like a daily reward, not something you should be getting like after months and years even playing in this game. Oh, I just noticed there was a little new icon there. That's interesting. Click T1 level ISO. You know how long that takes? And you get half a Mega Orb. But whatever, okay, that's just complaining about the states. But some other things that can be done here, I'll just go and leave the screen up because it's just fine. I think they should do a new login campaign, and I think they should do either a 7-day login campaign would probably be fine. Let's just go with 7, in fact. Let's not make it too complicated, and let's do this with the theme of meet you halfway. So some of these numbers you're going to see are going to be like halfway numbers, all right? It might make some sense, who knows? So, like, here's the examples of, like, all 7 days, some of the rewards they can give you. This will not be an egregious amount of stuff, but it's something you don't have to grind for. You just log in, and it shows the community that you have a little bit of appreciation for them coming back to your game day after day. Because there's lots of other, even for free-to-play players, free-to-play games out there on mobile devices that they can go to. So let's give back, Scopely. Throw the player base a bit of a bone. Let's keep them happy. Let's let them know you're not tone deaf. Let's know that you're listening. And, perhaps you'll get some of the spenders to open up the wallet and or purse strings again. So first one, day 1. Let's go with 500 T4 ability mats, okay? Whoa. Now, the reason I say that's halfway is that should be enough. Say you have a character who is like 6, 6, 6, and 4. This should allow you to get 2 of those guys up to max level. Okay, so you can put T4s and say they're passive and they're ultimate, whatever, or passive and basic, whatever the case may be. Meet them halfway on a character. It's great because, T4s, while they're given out daily if you're raiding, right? Well, at least in U7 and all. but they're pretty stingy with them, right? And it can get very frustrating, have a character you really want to work on, but don't have the mats laying around. So I'd say 500 T4 ability mats would be day 1. Day 2, just throw us 500 cores. It would allow us to work if they did it during this event, which they won't, but I mean, it just allows us to recoup some of that and use power cores for a lot of things, especially the way the war store is. That's basically 10 refreshes, right, of the war store, so you can get more ghost shards or more T15s, whatever this case may be. It's very versatile. You can do lots of stuff with it. So day 2, 500 cores, all right? Once again, it's not an unheard of number. I mean, it's probably that's what you get for reaching level 85. Well, there you go. And that's really fast. Day 3, let's go with 50 L4 training module, level 4 training modules, right? Training mats, I think, are the number one thing that needs to leave this game, but give it to us. Just give us 50 training mats. I mean, that'll help you level, I think, a character like 1 to 60 or something along those lines. And then they're halfway there on the road to the amazing amount of output you got to do for training them past that. But so it's, I don't know, just something good to give the community. They can work on characters as they see fit, and maybe they had a character that was kind of sitting around that they wanted to level, but they just can't afford to give up the mats for that character. Well, 50 of them at least will help you along a little bit, so can't hurt, right? Day 4, give us 1 random T15 mini. All right, that's it. Just give it 1. It's good, but it saves you a ton of either war credits or gold, or just luck of the draw, or tons of farming or RTAing. Just give us 1. All right. I don't know. It seems simple, but I don't know. They've been really tight with these things. Day 5, give us 500 SBCs. This is often talked about by a very big streamer. I won't say his name. I don't want to name drop too much. Well, I did one earlier, so it's OMG, right? So anyway, but he's always talking about how you need like 2,000 of these things to even level one character up to 15 sometimes. So it's like, just give us 500. It's a good start on something. It's an appreciable number, and once again, it would show that you as a company want the player base to progress, and it doesn't always have to be so by opening the wallet, right? Day 6, give us 50 symbiote Spider-Man shards. People were livid when Spider-Man went into the Milestone orb, and with good reason. He's impossible to farm there. My gosh, man. It's awful. You barely ever see him in there. I have 6 reds on him. I really want him to be up there, cranked up there, but, it is what it is. It's just that, and the reason I'm saying that is not because I have him and I want him to go up further, but I know the community was very upset, and this will let the community know that, hey, we're listening. We get it. We made him really hard to farm, so here's 50 of them. This would also allow newer players to unlock him very easily, which would be also a good thing, because getting Milestone orbs is not the easiest thing to do when you're a new to play or free to play player or a new player. So there you go, 50 Spider-Man shards on day 6, and finally on day 7, give us 5,000 war credits. Just throw them in our account. Right now, I think they sell this offer for $5. So I mean, if you value it that high, that's great. But it's a very flexible currency, and it would help alleviate some of the ill will we have towards the war store right now, because the war store is way overcrowded with too many important characters. There's artificial scarcity.
We call it the Denver jockstrap.
Because of the way they pop up, you got scarcity because war credits are harder to come by, and then you also compound that by throwing T15s in there. So the higher end players are going to need the 15s much more than the shards, but for the newer or middle game player, they kind of need a mix of both. So this way, it would let the player just pick and choose what they want, and you never get mad when you can actually get really good things for your currency. And there's so many good things in the war store, I think it would make total sense. So I mean, that's it. I don't think this is anything too untoward. I know this represents a lot of virtual money for them, this much stuff, but I don't think it's too bad. I'm not asking for a free character here. I'm not saying that Scopely should bend the knee and give us all 6 and 7 reds on every character, make it free to level everything. I understand there has to be bottlenecks. There has to be reasons that people spend money in this game. And there has to be something to slow progression. Otherwise, new raids will be finished the day after they're released. Think of WoW, how it used to be so hard. It took months to finish a raid back in the old days for the first time, or for World First. And now it usually happens by day 2. Usually within the first week, there's not a raid that's not beaten, right? Even on Heroic. So there you go. Show the player base you care. Don't stick these rewards behind something that causes them to grind. We've had to grind way too much lately. Between RTA and Blitz, this game has turned into a slog, a grind fest. And I'm personally tired of it. You know, I'm barely going for Bishop. I'm doing like 2 and 3 rotations a day, like I always do with Blitz. I don't usually do more than that. I will not be trained to log in, have my face constantly in the phone. I'm not going to do it. Like I said, it costs me some progression, but it is what it is. But show the community that you're listening. You know, show the community that, look, we may be a for-profit company, and that is the name of the game, but you know what? We can throw the community a bone, because we're going to be losing profits if people start leaving in droves, and that's the way it sounds. A lot of people threaten to leave, of course, you know, in the comment sections and all that in threads. But you know, they're not all going to leave. But even half of them leave. That's huge. You cannot afford to lose that many players, and this is coming much worse than the fix Marvel Strike Force or fix your pricing nonsense from last year, right? Because there's not much change there. But I mean, you paid attention, but now it doesn't seem like you're paying any attention. You know, once again, where is Beast? Make the announcement. Put him in the raid store once this RTA is over. You know, know that before because you want people to buy the battle pass. I understand that. Put him in there. Here's another idea too. For the next RTA, since we're getting a delayed time, give us double the shards. Instead of 45 for a free-to-play player, give them 90, and vice versa. And then battle pass, give them 110, whatever it is. It's not going to cost you a lot. I think it would extend a great olive branch out there, and it would not be locked behind something that the player has to grind yet another thing for. Okay, so that was all my suggestions. You know, on the state, not as much the state of the game, but like the state of the community temperature right now, because it's hot. It is hot. And if, like I said, if even half the people who are threatening to not be spending anymore are not spending, that's going to hit your bottom line like there's no tomorrow. Throw us a bone. I know it's going to help free-to-play players. I mean, hey, it's a tertiary thing, but I mean, you can't satisfy one without helping the other, right? So, invisible hand, once again, thank you, Adam Smith. But yeah, throw us a bone, and let's see if that goodwill starts coming in, because you need some more content creators creating good videos for you, and you need people who are on the fence about staying. You need to give them reason to stay, not just another paywall and or grind. So anyway, this little suggestion video is over. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If for somehow or some reason you're watching this Scopely, because I do put it in the MSF Discord, you know, we understand. You got to make money, but you got to keep your client base. And I get the feeling a lot of them are going to start leaving if you don't address this quickly. So we'll see what happens in the next blog post. But anyway, we're hoping you're listening, Scopely. And until next time, this is Genome. Just hoping these changes come soon.